and this is something that I would have liked to have understood earlier on in my journey, um, is that everybody is on their own path. And there is no point in comparing your experience to anybody. And it might actually be more beneficial to you to celebrate all of those wins for all of your people, even if yours are not happening yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Whoop, whoop. Elevate, motivate, create new things. Relevant, you're a blessing.
Hey, sister girl.
Hello, my beautiful angel.
Having conversations with you about coming home, wanting to do more television, wanting to um, have a series. I remember having these conversations, and then I look up one day and who has a series?
I mean, it was a lot of work to get there. But yeah, I had started because our tour started in Chicago. We all
Yeah.
relocated to Chicago to learn the show and run it for 6 months there.
Hmm.
And while I was there, I remember like once we opened that I wanted to start taking acting classes because I knew Chicago was a big city for improv and a big city for theater and the arts in general. So
Yeah.
I figured that I was like, let me just start jumping into some acting classes because I'd gotten very comfortable in the ensemble of all the musicals. I was so happy to be there and for that to have been the goal that I set out to achieve and just to like sit in the win of that achievement. I was good for a long time. But when I got the contract for Color Purple, um, I knew that I was going to be in the ensemble, but it wasn't until I showed up to sign my contract with my agent that I found out that I was going to be an understudy for a role. And I was like, what does that mean?
Uh-huh. A role
Like,
that you eventually took over. Uh-huh.
so it was my first time even thinking of myself in that way. And it wasn't even like my choice to do. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
kind of thrust upon me. So um it was that first night. It was the first night of going on for Squeak. I think I got a call. It was a 2 show day. I got the call at dinner in between show number one and show number two. And they're like, you're on for show number two. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And it was the night. That was the night that I made that decision that I was like, I love this. This feels more right than anything I've ever done. Not that anything felt wrong before. I was so fulfilled and so happy, but all of those things were leading me to that decision, that moment of decision that I had when I left. And then when I came back to be able to play it full time, I was already deep into my decision that I was like, I'm moving back to Los Angeles and I'm going to take acting very, very seriously. And I never, ever looked back.
Now, you said that your journey to being a series regular, that you worked really hard to get there. What were some of the things you did?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is managing all of the rejection
Hmm.
that I had from, I mean, it was pretty much a 10-year. Well, no, 2010 is when I started taking acting classes in 2011 and 2021 is when I got my series.
Hmm.
Um, so a little more than 10 years. Yeah, just like that was probably the biggest accomplishment is being able to figure out how to move through rejection one and then move through the amount of rejection that you have to face before you finally get that yes. Um, so that was a big learning curve for me. Um, And I was in acting class nonstop. I committed to taking class, and I committed to being there every single week, and um I was at a studio for about 4 years, like nonstop, and then I started branching out into a lot of different spaces, but I never let myself go like more than 1 month without being in some sort of training educational space in regards to acting, in regard to acting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was a lot of like, I signed up for all of like the newsletters, the SAG After Foundation, and I'm getting like notifications from all over the city from different studios that are having workshops with this casting director, and casting workshops were still very much a thing during that 10 years that I was coming up. Um, so it was just constantly being in a casting director workshop. It was constantly going to the SAG Foundation to listen to actors talk about acting. It
Mm-hmm.
was just constant work. I mean, lots of television watching. It was just a constant motion. Like I just kind of was working at this rhythm and this pace that was just nonstop.
Yeah.
And I honestly like some of the first like 2 weeks when I did get onto the series, there was this moment of like, I don't know who I am without that pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Though the series is moving and like it is a machine within itself, like I'm not having to like work so hard to stay relevant in certain casting directors' eyes right now. Like I'm just not having to like work as hard and as quickly and as much, and my calendar isn't so full with just like stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was like the mindset that I was in for like 10, 11 years.
Yeah. That's what
Feels
I was
weird.
going to ask you. When it hit and you got this series regular job, because I I think that it hit every time you got a co-star, every time you got a guest star, every time you got a callback or any of that, you were hitting. But
Yeah.
when the ultimate goal that you wanted, which was a series regular, when that happened, was it all that you expected, or was it sort of like, oh, this is it?
I think it was like all of that, a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of everything. There was definitely like a really bad case of imposter syndrome in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a really bad case of like, do I deserve this? Um, I felt really guilty because my job was so fun.
Yes.
And like it didn't feel like I had to work or like put in a lot of effort or energy. It was just like me and my TV husband, Tommy Thompson, playing all day, every
Mm-hmm.
day, like just being the goofy parents on a kid's show on Nickelodeon. Like there was so much guilt because I've been working so hard to get to this place that for it to feel easy when I got there was foreign to me.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that there are also levels to a series regular, you know? Like I felt like this was really wonderful like training for me
Mm-hmm.
to to be higher up on the call sheet in the future, and to be working in network television. That's a very different ball game as well. And so it was kind of like, yeah, this is it. Oh, but this is what it is for here in this circumstance in this space. But this is preparing me for another evolution of this in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of things. I mean, I definitely thought I was going to get fired too for the first 3 weeks because all of our casting, start to finish, happened on Zoom. So these people never saw me in person.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm a really tiny little person, and my one of my kids was already taller than me. And I was like, oh gosh.
But it was so cute though. It was great. It was great. I
we,
loved that.
we accepted it. You know, that's the beautiful thing about television and like a pilot. That's what it is. It's like establishing the relationships that these people have with each other. And now we just accept it and we move on through the series. But me, I was just in my head, I was like, they're gonna find something wrong. I look too young to have a teenager. I thought that was going to be a thing, but it wasn't a thing. None of it was a thing, but I was creating all of these things
Yeah.
in my head. So yeah, there was a lot going on in the beginning when it all hit.
Hmm. So you did this, you accomplished this goal. What would be sort of your next big thing that you will start
Well,
working toward?
I think it's more of the same, but um different. This was a wonderful experience working in sitcom television, working in children's programming.
Mhm.
What does it look like and what does it feel like for me to have a series regular on a show that my friends will actually watch? Besides like my mom and my bestie. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, like that feels like another level of a goal that I would like to achieve. Um, I haven't had a lot of opportunity to work in film. I really want to see what that feels like as well.
Mhm.
Um, it's just a lot more of the same. I get asked the question all the time, like, what is the ultimate goal? Like, what are we working towards? And my goal is always just to be one of the talents, artists, actors in this town that people can rely on and that people can trust.
You know, I thought about that when I saw that you were playing somebody's mama. So, so what is that like to sort of be able to fit in all these different boxes, to be able to play college and mother to, I mean, of course, young mom. I remember when I first moved to New York, I had a commercial audition and I was so young and they said, it's for a young mom. And I just thought, I can't play anybody's mom. And I ended up booking it. so,
Of course you did.
so I had cut myself off. But what's that like to be able to fit in all these boxes?
Well, I don't think that I would have categorized myself as mom prior to this. I have had some roles, but it was young mom, and that's a very specific description here in Hollywood.
Mhm.
Um, but to have now played a mom of two kids, both in double digits, I think it speaks to how Hollywood can deceive. Deceive people by one episode of exposition information, and now we believe it. Like there has been zero question whether or not I was these two kids' mom for the last 3 years. Like, oh, you are the Nickelodeon mom. Like, you are that. So, it's a matter of just acceptance, right?
Mhm.
If the audience can accept it, I can accept it as well. But as far as like what that has done now, being on the other side of it all, um, I still feel like though I walk into a room and I can give off a youthful energy and appearance. As soon as I open my mouth, people feel like, oh, she's grown. Like there's a grown woman
That's
in
right.
there.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it is harder for me to know what it is and means and feels like to be young. Again, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's hard for me to tap back into that space. Um, because I have lived like such a full life and I am old enough to have kids. I just don't. Uh,
Hmm.
so I don't know how well I could pull off college college guest star. I'm not sure that I could do that. If it was like a commercial and there was like less dialogue or like, I don't know, as soon as I speak, I just feel like my seasoned energy comes out.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I remember back in the day when I was trying to hold on to my my young characters, and I had this ponytail that I would always wear when I was going in for something young. And it would be like in the top of my head and coming down. So all my friends would know if they saw me on the street in New York. They're like, "Oh, oh, you're doing 20 something today."
Oh my gosh, the young pony. I love it.
But it got to a point, not even the pony.
Not working anymore, not as much.
No, no, because I didn't want to play I didn't
Yeah,
want to play down to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how has celebrity been for you? People recognizing you or people coming up to you? How's that part been?
I don't really experience a lot of that, to be perfectly honest. But just like I will say this, not being recognized, but being acknowledged as someone that worked really hard and is now getting to reap the benefits of all of that work on a series amongst my peers. That has really, really incredible and really celebratory for me. Like we're all in this grind together, and there are some people that are able to celebrate others' wins when they are not experiencing them, and there are others that are not able to do that.
Yeah.
And I get it and I understand. But just being acknowledged and appreciated, and like, things like this, you reaching out to me to like talk about this journey to this moment of success that I was able to reach, like things like that has been what has made me feel more accomplished, not necessarily celebrity,
Mhm.
but accomplished and appreciated has been amongst my peers has been really, really nice. Kind of
That's good.
for the 3 years, 2.5 years, or whatever it was that I was on the show, it was weird to like only have that be the thing.
Yeah. Because
You
that
know?
hadn't been your thing. You've had all these balls in the air at the same time.
So yeah. I mean, thankfully, in between seasons, I was able to get back on stage, which I was super excited about. I did 3 musicals back to back locally here in Los
Ah,
Angeles.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was able to like, because I had been so focused on the series for the first season, I was able to just kind of like not have to work so hard as soon as the series wrapped. And like theater in Los Angeles isn't like the most high paying theater that anyone will ever do. But these opportunities came to me and it was so exciting and terrifying to get back on stage. I was like, let this be the thing now. Because I worked so hard, right? Pace, running, hamster wheel,
Yeah.
to get the series regular. The series regular allowed me to like soften that pace a little bit
Mhm.
and just kind of like let this thing that's in front of me be the thing and me not have to worry about what I'm going to be doing next.
Yeah.
That was a nice breath to be able to take.
What do you do for your Zen moments and things, you know, how do you treat Tiffany?
I love going on walks.
Hmm.
There's a series on the Apple Watch or the Apple Fitness section that has time to walk. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of these things, but they take like really inspiring people from all walks of life.
Mhm.
Some regular people, some are in like superstar actors, some are directors, some are writers, some are scientists, all these amazing people, and they just talk for like 30 minutes about what it took to get them to their journey through their experience. And it's so incredibly inspiring. It's one of my favorite things to do. A steam room. I
Mhm.
love a steam room, Angela.
Yes.
To the point where I will have a steam room in my backyard one day.
Nice.
There's just something so relaxing and releasing about that experience. I literally feel like all of the yuck that has just been like swarming around in me is getting released. And it's like a fresh start. I come out of that steam room like a new woman. So I make sure that I get that done at least once or twice a week. I'm working on meditating on a regular basis, but I can get in meditation at least like once every couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Few walks and my steam room. And I'm a fitness girly, so I'm always in a fitness class and I still teach. I have a wonderful fitness community that I'm a part of right now.
You inspire me.
Oh, me too.
You inspire me. But we
So,
know that being an artist is not always what it looks like on Instagram or what it looks like when people on the outside looking in. What would you name one moment, season that was one of your highest highs, and
mm,
name one season that was one of your lowest lows?
mm. Wow. Well, it's been a lot of highs, there's been a lot of lows. Couldn't have one without the other.
Mhm.
I think that I think that the beginning of this, me making the decision that this was something that I wanted to do and pursue, like with my whole self, um, it was a personal challenge for me, right? I just wanted to see like how far I can go and how good I can get at this. And when I finally started auditioning, I was teaching spin. I just started teaching spin at the same time as me kind of like getting into a rhythm of auditioning and mostly auditioning for co-stars. Um, in the beginning, a sprinkle of guest star here and there, but I'm still just like trying to figure out what all of this even means. But I'm teaching spin like maybe 10 classes a week. And I'm teaching in Malibu, Pasadena, and downtown. And for those of you that don't know, those cities, areas in Los Angeles are incredibly far away from each other. Like with the traffic and everything, insane.
Mhm.
But sometimes I would have like a co-star audition in the middle of the afternoon and have to drive all the way up to Malibu to go teach my class. But those days, those early days of me teaching, making my playlist for class, teaching, memorizing my lines for my co-stars, driving all over the place because we were still very much in person, self-tapes were not a thing, driving all over the place, making sure I had all of that stuff in my car for like each one of those events that were happening in a day. All of that energy resulted in me booking like 15 co-stars in a year and a half. That's like 15 different television shows. And that was 15 different sets and 15 different experiences with directors and executive producers and showrunners and all those kinds of things. That energy and that going from show to show to show, that was such a high because that's what solidified that this was what I was doing. This is what I was meant to do, and this is what I should continue doing. Those kinds of results are so rare. So I was riding on that high for a very long time, even in the lows, the ebbs, if you will. Um, and then I think the lowest season that I've had is probably now. It's it's a really trying time in this industry. And I had always been of the narrative and the way of thinking that like once you got to series regular, like life was gonna change. All of these doors are gonna open for you and they're just gonna roll out the red carpet and come on in, Tiff. You've made it to the club. But that's not the experience that I am having right now. And I'm not sure that that's the experience that most actors have. But it's a common misconception that that is what happens. The industry has obviously changed significantly since even when I started doing this in 2010, 2011. Um, so we're just at a very like transitionary period within the industry. And I'm still trying to find that next big win, that next life-changing yes. I was listening to a podcast or an interview, something with Kevin Hart not too long ago, and he was talking about the entry points into the industry. I think he said that there was two, but I'm gonna add on like a third entry point. Like your first entry point is just like you showing up, right? I got a resume, I got some headshots. Now what do I do? Right? I'm here. The second entry point, I think, into the industry when things start changing is when you get that like first series regular, right? You're like, oh, okay, like people are starting to talk to me different and starting to treat me different. There's a chair with my name on it that nobody else can sit in. Okay, all right, this feels good. But it's that like next entry point where I really think the life changing opportunities and the industry really opens up in a very different way. And everything, I know that there's a lot of just like energy around town right now, just kind of like wondering when it's going to get back to normal. And I don't know if there's ever going to be any normal ever again. There'll be a new normal.
Yeah.
But making this transition from being on a series to not being on a series is probably the hardest transition I've had to make so far in my career.
Yeah, I can understand that. I was going to ask you, how has life been since the series ended and what you missed most? Um, but I can understand that. It's very difficult uh, to achieve something you have worked toward for years, and then you achieve it and you love it. And it's fun and it's amazing and you love the cast and you love and then it's over.
Yeah.
It's not easy. So give yourself grace because
Yeah.
it's understandable. So
Yeah.
so much so. Um, but what do you miss most
Uh,
besides the check?
really cute. Um, all of our dressing rooms were in one long hallway. And I miss just being able to go out into the hall and see who's hanging out. I miss knocking on TV hubby's door and being like, come out here in 5 minutes. We're learning this TikTok choreography.
I loved your TikTok choreography. I loved it.
Yeah, we had a good time with that. We've still been managed to get a couple in post, but I got to get us back on a regular schedule of doing those because I loved them. People loved them. So we just need to put more love back in our feeds. Um, I miss them. I miss them. I miss them so much. Um, I miss the entire production staff, truly. I don't think that it's super uncommon for everybody to like love each other and get along, but I do think that we all stumbled upon a really beautiful moment in time Um, and it was just home away from home for sure. And I miss that.
That. I want to back up just a little bit because you said you told the story about all these co-stars that you booked within in a year and a half span. Um, and you were doing the whole suitcase, one end of the city, other end of the city, and all of that. Did you make a decision at some point to say, I'm not doing co-stars anymore, I'm gonna do guest stars now, or I'm gonna move toward my series regular goal, or did that just happen organically?
I think it was kind of both,
Mm.
actually. So when I was in that co-star hustle and booking all of those and running all over town, I was represented by an agency that specialized in co-stars. They definitely like sent people out for other things, but um hearing amongst casting offices and things like that particular agency is known as a co-star agency.
Mhm.
Now there was, I was so thankful to be with her for as long as I was, and there was a moment of decision that I made towards the end of my time with her. I was like, okay, this, all these, some things are starting to feel not comfortable for me here. So I would like to move on from this agency. And my manager said, we're going to start shopping around and seeing what agencies we can get meetings with. And the first agency that I met with, like within that meeting, obviously they were like so impressed with my co-star resume, and they were like, okay, I think we've got enough of these. We're not going to submit you for co-stars unless they are like really meaty, juicy co-stars. And I was like, okay, I mean, that's whatever you see fit. I was used to going out on co-star auditions like multiple times a week, sometimes multiple times a day on lucky weeks. So I wasn't sure what that meant, like removing that completely um just meant that like the auditions were going to get, there was going to be less opportunities, but they were going to be better opportunities. And so it was kind of a decision that was made for me, but came from a decision that I made to move on to a better agency.
Um, you talked about walking and listening to uh, your 30-minute motivation, inspiration. Um, if you had one, if if someone said, "Can you record one of these for people, for artists to walk and listen to you?" What would it sound like? What would like the what give me about, a minute of what it would sound like? What would you want to inspire artists to do more of or less of?
I think that my main mantra is always just keep going, right? And I think that would probably be like the umbrella message of my my podcast, my inspirational podcast. But underneath that umbrella, I would probably touch on a few things, but the biggest one, and this is something that I would have liked to have understood earlier on in my journey, um, is that everybody is on their own path. And there is no point in comparing your experience to anybody. And it might actually be more beneficial to you to celebrate all of those wins for all of your people, even if yours are not happening yet, because your path is your path, and what is meant for you will always come and find you. And I lived very much in a space of comparison and envy in the early stages of my artistic journey. And I wish that I would have been able to grasp this concept, sharing this light. There's so much light, and there is so much opportunity, and there is so much space for everyone to have a piece of the pie and to shine like the stars that they are. So if somebody else's star is shining a little bit brighter than yours right now, that's okay, Tiffany. That does not dim your shine or your light at all.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. When did you change from being a performer only and when did you become an artist?
Angela.
There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with being a performer, but I sense in our conversation that you are an artist.
Thank you. I received that as a compliment. I think that the moment that I decided to make this the most important thing, I mean, outside of like people and relationships, but like when I decided to make this the thing, I think that's when I crossed over into being an artist because I don't, the money, yes, it's great when it's good. But like, I loved every minute of doing those three musicals in between season one and season two. And I probably got paid a couple $100 a week or something for those experiences. But like some of the best experiences of my life, I don't, I just want to make enough money so that I can like live the life that I want to live and like be able to do this forever. But none of it has ever been about the money for me. And that's when I realized that this is my heart. This is my passion. I'm an artist. I love creating. The performing was just what got me, was the catalyst to get me to my artistry.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is deeper than the check.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll
You make
take it, but
that. Don't get me wrong. Like,
yes,
absolutely.
yes,
Um, but like the moment of discovery, like I can get paid to do what I love to do with my entire heart. Like I don't know what else is there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we hold space for you to achieve all of your dreams. We want all of your dreams to come true. We want you to have series regular. We want you to direct. We want you to direct plays and musicals, but we also want you to direct television so you can hire us. We want we want you to produce. All of these things are just natural progressions that you will achieve because you're worthy of them, for one, and for two, you worked your butt off. You deserve it.
Thank you, Angela. Received. Thank
Love
you
you. Thank you
for
for coming on.
what an honor. I'm sorry it took so long for us to find each other, but
Yeah, so just to watch you continue to reach your goals and your dreams, it's been great.
well, you have always been um the safest of spaces. And before that was like a buzzword, safe space. Like if if I could write a definition of what Angela is a safe space. You were always so welcoming and so inspiring and always just so giving and so generous, and you're still like doing that, and you found other ways to continue to do that to the masses, and that has been so incredible to watch.
I'm so
And
glad.
I was in class with Renee.
Renee Lawless?
Yes, Renee.
Yes! I think
Yes.
she told me. I think she told me.
Yes, we were in class together for a very long time. And so it was almost like every time I saw her, it was like almost like I was hugging Angela too.
Oh my, because she did tell me, and we talked about you
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you.
You say it's hard and speaks. You say it's hard and speaks. You say it's hard and spirit.